Welcome everyone. In this section, we will build a visual interface for our AI chat app. But before that, we will learn the very fundamental concept of Next.js, which is routing and layouts. Now, let's begin. So, first thing here, I'm going to explain what is routing. So, Next.js uses a file-based routing. What this means? This means the folder and file you create is equal to the route or a URL in the browser. Let's learn it step by step. What is routing in Next.js? Routing means when user goes to URL like /home /products, Next.js decides which page to show. Next.js automatically creates route based on your folder structure. So what this based on the folder structure means. So here you can see we have the app folder. This app folder is your root page, not route. Just consider what I'm saying here. Here I'm saying this is the root or home page. So when you go to the URL, you can see here at the bottom in a terminal URL http localhost. This is your root path. Okay. So let's close this one and open the browser. And when in the browser you specify localhost 3000 and hit enter, you see this is the root page. Okay. But what happens if you want to create a URL or a page like /about? Okay. And when you hit enter, it shows 404. This page could not be found, which means this URL or this page does not exist in your Next.js. So how we can create this URL and page? And this is all about routing. So let's go back, and here you can see the app folder. Under the app folder, if you want to create a URL /about, you will need to create a folder and you need to specify the name of the folder. So here we want to create about, we will specify the name about. But as soon as we create about under this folder app, this about becomes route. But this route is not accessible. Let's go back to the browser and try to access it again. Now here, after the 3000, I've specified the path or the URL /about and hit enter. And you can see still it is not accessible. To make it accessible, Next.js says under that folder, you will need to create a special file which is called page.tsx. Page.tsx. Okay. So now this /about is publicly accessible. Remember, to create a route in Next.js, you will need to first create a folder, and under that folder, you will need to create page.tsx file. Now let's here define our component, and I will name this component about. This is our about page. Now let's go back to the browser and access that URL. And now you can see it shows error. So here, let's refresh this page. And now you can see this page is accessible and the text about is on the page that we have written here under the file page.tsx of about folder. So basically, whenever you want to create a new route in Next.js, you will need to create a folder with a page.tsx file. Let's take one more example. Suppose we want to create a one more route. Okay, we want to create a /product route. So here we will create a new folder product, and under this folder we will specify file page.tsx. And now here let's create a component and name this component product. Now let's go to the browser and let's access this new route, and the new route is /product and hit enter. Now you can see the text product is visible and this text is written under the page.tsx file of the product folder. So now you know basic routing, and here I want to again explain you that each folder inside this app directory becomes the route. Inside that folder, you create a file page.tsx or page.js that becomes the page. So here you need to understand two concepts. To create a route, you need to do things. First, you need a URL, and then you need a web page. Okay. So how you create URL? You create URL by creating folder under the app folder. And how you create a page? You create page by specifying or by creating a page.tsx file under that folder. Okay, now after this, the next concept is a nested routing, which means routes inside routes, or in other words, a folder inside another folder creates a nested routes. Let me show you. So here you can see we have created this product route, and you can see in the browser the path of this route is a slash product. And suppose you want to create slash laptop like this route. So for that you will create a nested route, or you will create another folder under this product folder and name that folder laptop like this. But as you know, this laptop route is not accessible. So when it become accessible when we create the file page.tsx under this laptop folder. And now here specify our component laptop. And now let's go in the browser, and you can see here this is the slash laptop. Now let's hit enter, and you can see it shows the text laptop on the web page. So this is how you can create a nested layouts. Again, here we have created the first layout product, and then we created nested layout slash laptop, and this is our complete URL. So this is how you can create a routes and nested layouts in a Next.js 16. Now here I'm going to delete all these folder about and product, because I have shown you how to create routes in Next.js. And now we continue and create our chat UI interface. Now we are on the root page, and you can see on the root page or home page, these are the text, these are the default boiler code. Let's remove this default Next.js boiler code. To remove this, under this app folder, you will see page.tsx. Here, select all and remove. And here we will specify our own component, and component name will be home, because this is our home page. And now you can see the text home. Now here, instead of returning this div, we will return the main of HTML, okay, like this. And now here let's specify our styling, and here it will be flex, then minimum height, screen, and then flex call, and then items center, and then justify center, and the padding will be 24 from all sides. Now under the main, here specify h1 tag, and here let's write the text welcome to AI chat. And now you can see the text is visible on this home route. Now here we're going to design this text. So specify here class name, and then give text for Excel like this. And this will make it bigger, and make a font bold. So specify font bold. And now it is the beautiful text. Now below to this h1 tag, specify p tag. And here I'm going to write your smart assistant is ready. Now here let's specify class name and give margin top 4, and make text larger by specifying text LG. So we have created our home page, you can see here, and we return text welcome to AI chat, your smart assistant is ready. Now under this app folder you see one more file, global.css. Open this global.css. You can add standard CSS here that applies to the whole app. So here we are using the Tailwind, but you could also use a CSS modules if you prefer scoped styles. So in future, if you want to add your own colors or style, you can use this global.css. So here we have created our homepage, you can see, and this homepage contains a simple text, welcome to AI chat. Now let's understand the next concept, layout. And I think Next.js documentation is best place to learn about Next.js layout. Let's go to the Next.js documentation. And now here you can see it says a layout is a UI that is shared between multiple pages. So what this means, let me explain you in a detail. So in the previous section, we created a two pages. We created two pages, about page and product page. Now a layout is a wrapper used on all pages inside a folder. And whatever you write inside layout will appear on every page under that folder. Okay, suppose you have navbar, okay, you have footer, okay. So on your website, this navbar, this footer will appear on every page, okay. So in a Next.js, you create a special file called layout.file, and in that file, you define your newly created navbar and footer, and then you wrap all the pages using that layout, and navbar and footer will appear on every page. So just take an example. Now this is your layout.tsx file, and under this file, you have defined your navbar and footer like this. Now you have the page, about page, okay. This is your about page and this is your product page, okay. You will connect both the pages with this layout, okay. You will connect both the pages with this layout, and now you know this layout contains your navbar and your footer. Now whenever you visit this slash about page, then this page will contain navbar and footer. And also when you visit this product page, okay, this product page will also show the same navbar and footer. So as you can see here, the layout UI is shared between multiple pages. This is your first page product and this is your second page. So here you just saw shared between multiple pages. So whenever you want to reuse any UI on a different pages, you can define those UI or those component or those code under this layout.tsx. Whenever you visit different URL like a slash about slash product, that layout or that UI will appear on every page. And this is the concept of layout in Next.js. Let's see with an example. Now let's go back to the Visual Studio Code. So when we created our My AI Chat app, you can see under this app folder, this layout.tsx file is automatically created by Next.js. And this layout file under this app folder you can see here is called root layout, or it is a common for entire app. So here you can see this layout contains code, which is the HTML and body. And here you can see this is the children. Now all other pages under this app folder will be inserted here in a place of children, and whatever above these children will appear on the every page, and whatever you put below to these children will appear on every page. So let's create a new route. So here I'm going to create a new route and I will name this route about again. And now let's create a file page.tsx. And now let's create a component and specify the name of component as about. So here I'm going to write text. This is the about page. Now let's go to the browser and visit the URL or path about. So you can see here the text. This is about page. Now let's go back to the layout.tsx file at the root here. And now here above the children, I'm going to write a text. Okay, so here I will specify h1, and here I'm going to write this is the navbar. In real life, you will use here real navbar component, But for example, to show you how layout works, I'm just writing the text. Now let's go back to the browser and open the root page of the website. So here, let's visit the root page, and on the root page, you can see this is the navbar. And now let's visit the second page, about page. You can see it shows the text. This is navbar. And you can see here one thing that you should notice here, you have only defined or written this text under the layout.tsx file, but you can see it is visible on the about page. If you go to the about page, you can see you have not written here that text, but that text also appear on this about page. Now let's create one more page. Here I'm going to create a product page again, product. Okay. Now let's create one more page, create a product page. And under this, create a page.tsx file, and here define the component and name it product. And now call it this is the product. And let's go back to the browser, and here specify the path product and hit enter. Now you can see this page again contains the same text that we have defined in the layout.tsx. So you can see this is how you can share your UI between different pages. Okay, let's go back to the layout.tsx file here, and here I'm going to define one more text, and I will call this is the footer. Now again, I have defined this element or this tag under the layout.tsx, but this tag or this text will appear on every page in the website. Now again, let's visit the browser, and here you can see on the product page, you can see this is the text from the layout file. Now let's visit the about page, and here again you can see on the about page, this is the text from the layout. So this is how you can use the layout to share a common UI between different pages. Now I'm going to remove this two text from the main layout or the root layout because we don't need in this project. This is just for understanding. Now you understand how to use routing and how to use a layout. So let's continue and build our chat AI user interface. So under the app folder, let's create a new route and name it chat. And under this route, let's create a new file and name this file layout.tsx. Now here you can see there is a two layout. One layout at the level of app you can see here, and the second layout under the chat folder. So this layout is called nested layout because this layout is specific to this chat route. So whatever UI that you define under this layout will only be applied to chat or any route under this chat. Remember. So here let's create the component chat layout. So here I'm going to create a component and name this component chat layout like this. Then here this is going to return a div, and here I will specify a class name and then specify flex, then h screen, then background will be gray 900 and text will be a white. And now under this div, I'm going to create a site, or I'm going to create a sidebar. So here I will use the aside tag. Now specify here class name, and then width will be 64, background will be gray 800, and then border right. So specify here border R, then border color will be border gray 700, padding from all side is 4, it will be hidden, and then on medium devices it will be block like this. Remove this chat text from here. Now under this aside, I'm going to create a h2 tag, specify h2, and then specify history to show the history of the chats. And now specify class name and make the font bold by specifying font bold, and then make the text large by specifying text LG, and then bottom margin will be 4. Now, below to this S2 tag, I'm going to use the unordered list. So specify here UL, and then specify a class name, and then specify space of Y2. Now, under this UL, I'm going to create a list, specify here li, and then specify new chat like this. Now, specify class name to this li and give a class name of padding 2. On hover, bg will be changed to gray 700, and then it will be rounded, and the cursor will be a pointer. So this is the cursor type, and then text color will be gray 400. Now what I will do here, I'm going to copy this one and I will create one more list. So copy this one and paste here and change this to previous chat like this. Now here this layout is going to wrap all the pages. So we will pass other pages such as about or any other page. This is just for example, just understand this. We will pass other pages as a children to this layout, because this layout, as you can see, contains a sidebar, and this sidebar will persist across all chat pages. So here we need to specify children. So for that, here I will specify main and specify the curly braces, and then pass the children, and these children represent the pages. Now when you hover on it, you can see you can't find the children because we have not defined the children at the top. So let's go at the top, and now under this specify curly braces and then specify children. Then outside of this curly braces specify colon, and then specify the type of the children that you will pass to this layout. So the type of children will be react dot react react node. Now as you can see, error is gone. So here maybe you are confused why I have written children and this react node. So as I told you before, layout is a wrapper. It is going to wrap all the pages. So you need to pass the children to this layout, because in layout you can see we have defined our own sidebar, and this sidebar will persist on every pages. So we need to pass the all the pages to this layout. So how we can pass? We can pass using this children. So you can see here the children type is a react node, and here you can see under the main we are passing the children. So whenever we switch to or navigate to different pages, only the page content is going to change. So here under the main you can see we have passed the children, we pass the page that will change every time when we navigate to different pages. And above this main you can see this is the sidebar, and this sidebar will persist across different pages. Now we have created layout for the chat. Now let's access this chat route in a browser. So close this one and open the browser, and in browser specify slash chat and hit enter. As you can see, currently it shows 404 because we only have layout.tsx. So let's add default page for the chat. So as I told you in a previous section, to make this route accessible, we need to create a file called page.tsx. So specify here page.tsx like this. Now here I'm going to create a component and name this component chat home like this. Now here under the div specify class name and specify flex, items, center, and then justify center, height will be full, text color will be gray 400. Now under this div, remove the chat home and specify here p tag or paragraph, and right here select a chat from the side bar or start a new one like this. Now we have created our chat UI or chat page. Now let's go back to the browser and access this. Again, refresh this one. And now you can see this is our sidebar and this is our chat section. Select chat from the sidebar or start new one. So as you can see, this sidebar is coming from the layout that we have created under this chat route. Now here I want to introduce another concept of routing, which is called dynamic routing. So in real world chat app, you want URL like /chat/abc or /123. And this is done with the dynamic routes. So to create this dynamic route, let's go back to the code and under this chat folder, create a new folder. But here you need to understand one thing. Whenever you are going to create a dynamic routes for a specific route, you need to specify a square bracket like this. And under this square bracket, specify the segment name, which is a chat ID in this case. So in real world, what happens when you create a new chat, each chat will be assigned a unique ID. So that whenever you visit the history of chats, you can click on that, and after clicking on that, Next.js will find that chat from the database and show you. So here Next.js will need a unique chat parameter or unique chat ID, and that will be passed from the front end to the back end. So here this page will handle all of those things. So under this chat ID, I'm going to create a new file and name this file page.tsx. And now here I'm going to first define props for the this chat page. So here prop is nothing. It is used to define the type of the parameter this chat ID will accept. And this prop can be defined using a type script. So specify here type and name this props, which is equal to, then under this specify the params or parameter that will be passed to this chat page. And then specify the type. So here chat ID type will be string. Now here I'm going to create a function or a component. So I will specify here export default function chat page. And now here this is going to return a div and specify here text chat page like this. As I told you, we are going to pass the parameter to this chat component. We will also need to tell the type of the parameter that we are passing to this chat page. So here specify curly braces, then params, and then colon, and then specify here props. So as you can see, the type of props is a string. You can see here. Now in Next.js, we need to grab the chat ID from this params. So I will specify here const, then curly braces, then chat ID, which is equal to await params like this. So when you hover on this await, you can see we have not defined this function as an asynchronous function. So here before the default, specify async. And now here replace this text with the params. So here specify curly braces and then here call that chat ID. And now let's go back to the browser, and here after the chat specify ABC and hit enter. And you can see this ABC parameter is visible. Now again here specify another parameter 1, 2, 3. And you can see 1, 2, 3 is visible. Let's open this browser and Visual Studio Code side by side. But here you can see this is the 1, 2, 3 number. When we pass this number to this chat page, this number is converted to a string. Now let's create this chat page. So here under the div specify class name and then flex, flex call, then height will be full. Now I'm going to remove this one right now, and here under this div I'm going to create header, so I will specify here a header tag, and now under this header I'm going to create a h1, and then here I will use the chat id like this chat id and then colon, then here I'm going to use the chat id like this. Now go to this header, specify class name, then specify padding of 4, border bottom, and the border color will be gray 700. Also to this h1 specify class name, make text excel, font should be semi bold. Now below to this header we are going to create our chat area, so specify here div, and then to this div specify class name, make it flex 1, overflow y auto, padding of 4, space of y is 4. Now under this div create one more div, and here under this div I'm going to specify paragraph, and here write hello, this is chat room. And after this I'm going to specify the chat id, so here specify chat id like this. Then to this div specify the class name, and then here specify background color as a gray 800, padding of 3, rounded lg, max width will be xs, and then self start. Now below to this div we are going to create a input area, so here let's specify another div. To this div specify class name, padding of 4, border top, border color will be gray 700. Then under this div we are going to create a form which will accept the input, so specify here form, and then specify class name to this form and make it flex, and the gap will be 2 for each element under this form. Now here specify the input, and to this input specify the class name which will be flex 1, bg gray 800, border, and then border color will be border gray 700. It will be rounded, padding of 2 from all side, then focus will be outline none, and then focus border will be blue 500. Also specify the placeholder, and then right here type a message. Now here below to this input we are going to create a button, so specify here button and right here send. Now specify the class name, background will be blue 600, on hover background will change to blue 700, make padding of x4, padding of Y will be 2 and font will be bold. Now specify the type of button. This is the submit type. So specify here type and write here submit like this. Now maximize this window and you can see this beautiful chat area. You have your chat and then this is the input for your chat and this is the send button. Go back to the home page. To go back to home page, remove all this one and hit enter. Now we need to make some changes to this home page so that whenever user visit this page, they are able to navigate to the chat page. So let's go back to the code and open the Visual Studio Code and open this page of the root folder and open this page.tsx of the app folder. So here I'm going to close and click on app, then click on this page.tsx and this page will appear. Now here I'm going to specify some of the class name, like after padding 24 specify bg black and the text will be a white like this. Then make this text 5xl, font bold, and then specify bg gradient to r from blue 400 to purple 600, and then make a text transparent and then make bg clip text like this. And now let's open the browser again. You can see this beautiful text. Let's go back. And now below to this p tag, specify link component link and make sure you import this link from next link. So in a Next.js, when you want to navigate between different pages, you can navigate using this link component. So here, this link component accept href and here specify href as a chat page path. So specify here /chat /new like this. Remove this one and then let's also specify the class name and make margin top as 8, padding of x6, padding of y3, bg white, text black, rounded, full, font semi-bold. On hover, background color will change to gray 200 and transitions. Now here specify start chatting. Now let's go back to the home page. And home page you can see this is the beautiful white color button start chatting. And when you click on this, it opens the new chat. Now let's go back. So here in the code you can see we have used this link component to navigate between our different pages. And here in href you specify the path of that page wherever you want to go when you click on this link component when you click on the button. So this is all about routing and layouts. And in the next section, we will bring this UI to life by connecting it to an AI using the Vercel AI SDK.